Amazon Prime has done it again. On the 31st anniversary of the release of the first Wheel of Time book, The Eye of the World, Amazon Prime gave us a new teaser for the upcoming TV show, this time with concept art that was used for the look and feel of the show. We also got some more fun answers from Rafe Judkins, the showrunner. Let's unravel everything we can from this 17-second teaser. Spoiler warning. This video does contain minor spoilers related to some story and plot points for the first Wheel of Time book, The Eye of the World. I will also show a few images of leaked set and production photos that have been previously published by others online. If you wish to remain completely spoiler-free, this video may not be for you. Okay, I'm going to play the teaser with the sound off to avoid copyright issues. Please go and check out the official link with audio on Amazon Prime's Wheel of Time Twitter account. I have a lot to say about all of this, so buckle up. First, let's talk about this clip as a whole. I love that this feels like a small piece of what is likely a larger featurette video. This excites me for a few reasons. One, we're going to get behind the scenes information. I'm a sucker for this sort of thing since I make videos and animations for a living. I think I've spent just as much time watching behind the scenes featurettes for the Lord of the Rings movies as I have watching the films themselves. I can't wait to learn more about what inspired the show creators to do what they did. I'm all for changes as long as those changes are intentional and keep the spirit of the characters and story. This implies to me that they're also aware of this and are doing their best to explain why they're making changes and creative choices that some fans might not like. 2, this hints to me that we will probably get episodes of the show released weekly instead of as a single full season dump. This is obviously speculation, but they seem to be taking the same approach that Game of Thrones did, with featurettes that appear at the end of each weekly episode, discussing character motivations, behind-the-scenes content, and important questions that hype up the following week's episode. 3, with a featurette like this existing, this implies that they may be farther along with production and post-production than some people think. I'm sure to some degree they've been creating these behind-the-scenes featurettes in tandem with the actual show production. But I like to think that showing us glimpses of these clips means they're closer to releasing finished episodes too. Maybe this is wishful thinking. Okay, so let's discuss exactly what is said in the teaser. Rafe says, "What's special about The Eye of the World is the themes of balance, of gender, and the emotional journey of these characters. As a fan of the books, I feel so lucky we get to bring this world to life." I love the themes of balance in the books, and I can't wait to see more about how they bring that into the show visually and thematically. I'm also glad that Rafe acknowledges the themes of gender in the books. Rafe also talks about how he is a fan of the books, and how lucky he feels to bring that world to life, which is very exciting. Actually, he says he feels lucky that, quote, "we get to bring this world to life." He acknowledges that this is a team effort. It's easy to blame a single person for how a show turns out, or to give credit to just one person. But obviously there are many people working together to give us the best show they can, I hope. Based on this concept art and the other teasers that we've seen so far, teasing props, sets, and graphics, I think they're doing a fantastic job of bringing the world of the Wheel of Time to life. Later in the day, to everyone's surprise, Rafe showed up to the Dusty Wheel livestream in the chat. He mentioned that they hired around 15 artists to do concept art just for Moraine's use of the One Power, which was the very first concept art done for the show. This is truly a dedicated team who cares passionately about the show, and clearly they have the budget to do it right. To me, the most important line in the teaser comes when Rafe mentions the, quote, "emotional journey of these characters." Despite all of the changes that will inevitably come, and possibly may divide fans, let's not forget that Rafe and his team are trying to stay true to the characters, their emotional journeys and experiences, and the true spirit of the books. Locations, accents, and even race may not fit into your headcanon, or may not align perfectly with the books, but the spirit and the emotions behind everything will hopefully leave us feeling satisfied. Isn't that feeling of the world and characters that Robert Jordan created one of the real reasons that you're a fan anyway? Okay, getting off my soapbox. Speaking of the feeling of the world, this concept art captures the feelings of the world of the Wheel of Time for me. After the teaser, Amazon posted individual tweets with text descriptions of the teaser and higher resolution images of each piece of concept art, including different versions that were cropped, likely for desktop and phone background use. Before I read these, I just want to say that I really appreciate that they're taking the time to describe the details of the videos in this way. It adds depth and also shows that they care to make these teasers accessible to people with disabilities. Sarah Nakamura, a huge Wheel of Time fan and consultant for the show, was in the chat on the Dusty Wheels livestream, and she said this: "Accessibility is so important. I've made it my personal mission to try to ensure that the show is accessible to our visually impaired friends. Thank you, Sarah and Amazon Prime, for making this a priority." The first description says, "The video opens on the first page of Chapter 1 from Robert Jordan's The Eye of the World. Visible on screen is the sentence, 'The wheel of time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend.' Nothing very exciting here, but so far every visual teaser that they've released has started with either a line from the books or the script. I like that." Description 2. Transition to Rafe Judkins, showrunner for the Wheel of Time series, on screen discussing what's special about The Eye of the World in honor of the anniversary of its release in 1990. A quick note about this scene. Somebody called into the Dusty Wheel show and speculated that the setting behind Rafe might be a set from the show, but Sarah Nakamura shot that idea down in the chat. Description 3. As Rafe continues to talk, the video cuts to concept art of two men overlooking a valley. There appears to be a small encampment and bridge near the river below. When I first saw this, I immediately thought this might be Matt and Rand looking at Whitebridge. Then I looked at the image more closely and realized that would be pretty sad and pathetic if that was Whitebridge. Also, in the books they arrive at Whitebridge from Bail Domon's boat, and not from land, so I quickly dismissed the idea of this being Whitebridge. Some people online think it might be Rand and Tam on the Quarry Road. I do like the idea of this being the Quarry Road, but I don't personally think this is an early scene with Tam and Rand. For one, it looks like Rand has his sword already, which doesn't align with the story we know. That said, based on some images that we've already seen of Emond's Field, the cliffside and terrain do seem to match, and this is definitely a quarry. To me, it's more likely that this is one of the villages that Rand and Matt pass through on their way to Camelin after the group is separated at Shadar Logoth. The terrain doesn't exactly match my headcanon of Rand and Matt passing from village to village on the road, but unlike the other concept art which feels more complete as an artistic rendering, this image in particular feels like concept art that was rushed together by using actual photos of an actual location that was used for filming. Notice the photoshopped-looking drawings mixed in with a more photorealistic image of the location. As a matter of fact, our amazing internet sleuth, GEEKY mentioned that this concept art matches images of a location where the Wheel of Time was shooting back on November 25th of 2019. The location is called Velká Amerika, which translates to Big America or Czech Grand Canyon. According to Wikipedia, it's an abandoned limestone quarry. GEEKY also mentioned to me that this segment was filmed during Block 2 of production, which implies strongly that they are already out of Emond's Field at this point. She told me she thinks this takes place after the group is separated at Shadar Logoth. She also mentioned that Alexander Wilhelm, the actor who plays Tom Marilyn, was in Prague from November 24th, and that the actors who play the Grinwells arrived later in that same week. You should definitely check out GEEKY's amazing videos, and you can learn more at watseries.com. Description 4. The next piece of concept art is a festival, with numerous lights adorning the town and women dancing in a circle as men look on. Sarah Nakamura mentioned in the Dusty Wheel chat that not all of the concept art images are totally accurate to how the show turned out. Rafe said later that he would answer one question in the chat. The Dusty Wheel panel asked, "How much did the concept art end up reflecting the final product?" Rafe responded, "This is actually really early concept art from the process. There's a couple of them that are very close to final product. But our concept team did some really cool stuff that didn't end up coming in until later to the show." Daniel Green, who was one of the panelists on the Dusty Wheel show, guessed that the two accurate images might be this image, of what appears to be Beltane or Winter Night celebrations in Emond's Field, and the Shadar Logoth image, which we'll discuss later. Rafe said that Daniel was right about one of them. My guess is that many of the details related to the Beltane Winter Night celebration in Emond's Field are accurate to the show, with the exception of some of the costume choices. I'm also guessing that the previous Quarry Velká Amerika image is accurate to the final show based on set photos that we've seen. Clearly, the official images of Emond's Field and the Winespring Inn do seem to match very closely to the concept art pictured here. Go and watch my other teaser video, where I break down the first Wheel of Time teaser, which features more imagery of the Winespring Inn set. Description 5. From there, the video shows a group of wagons surrounding a campsite where people have built a fire. This is likely an image of the traveling people, Tuatha or Tinkers. Some people pointed out that the wagons don't seem to be very colorful, but some leaked images of wagons and even an extra in costume seem to show a bit more color than what's in this concept art. I've decided not to show those images here, but you can go and watch GEEKY's Block 2 breakdown video for some amazing behind-the-scenes images and production schedule information. Description 6. The video then transitions to concept art of a group of riders on horseback crossing a bridge over a stream. When I first saw this, I thought it might be the Emmons Field gang leaving the two rivers for the first time, maybe crossing the wine spring, but in the books they leave at night, not during the day. Then somebody pointed out the building or tower that appears to be visible in the distance through the trees. I've heard speculation that this could be the Tower of Genji, which I think is very unlikely, the White Tower, which I think is very plausible, or Shadar-Logoth, which is my favorite answer. I know some people think that Camelin and the royal family will not appear in the first season, and that the group may end up in the White Tower or at least in Tar-Valon instead. What do you think that tower or building in the distance is? Description 7. It ends with concept art of a hooded rider on horseback in a deserted city covered by a pale white fog. I mean, this has to be Shadar-Logoth, right? Some people said they saw things in the windows like faces, but I can't see anything. There are those who think that if this is Shadar-Logoth, it should be more run down, and that the building should not be so whole. I do imagine Shadar-Logoth is more of a ruined city that has very few fully standing buildings remaining. Since Rafe said only one of Daniel Green's 2 guesses were correct, and since I'm assuming it was the Winternight image that was more accurate, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Shadar-Logoth may not look exactly as this concept art portrays. Daniel did manage to get another question answered from Rafe. He asked if Shadar-Logoth would give him nightmares, and Rafe essentially said yes. I do like how eerie this image feels, and I love the pale white fog, which hints at Mashadar being present. And that's it. What do you guys think? Are you as excited about this teaser and this concept art as I am? It gives me Mandalorian vibes, which I dig. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. My next spoiler-heavy video about the Heron-Marked Blade teaser was supposed to be released on the same day as this video, but I dropped everything to make this one instead. The good news is my Heron-Marked Blade spoiler video is almost complete and should be out very soon. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for continuing to give us fans so much wonderful content leading up to the show. And a special thanks to my wonderful patrons on Patreon. Please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can keep unraveling the Wheel of Time for years to come. Walk in the light.